Welcome to Macro Magic. I'm Sherry Damaris, and today I'm going to do a cooking class on Happy Health Heart. We at the Macrobiotic Global Institute like to teach our students little tips, little healthy tips of what you can do to improve your health. And today we're going to talk about the heart. In addition to my cookbook, Macro Magic for Kids and Parents, I often recommend Colin Campbell's The China Study. Colin's been on our show a number of times and have talked about heart health and how important it is to cut down on animal food eating and increase vegetables. And why does he recommend that? Is because vegetables, grains, and beans have more fiber. Meat, animal food does not have any fiber, and then the excess protein from the animal food jacks up your cholesterol, the plaque in your veins and arteries, and it's very, very hard to discharge it, to clean it out. Today I'm going to show you a vegetable you can eat to help clean that out and clean up your arteries. We'll talk about that, and we'll also talk about other things that you can do to improve your heart health. So today we're going to do two recipes using a Daikon radish. So this is what a Daikon radish looks like. They almost like a carrot, but they're white and they're much larger than a carrot. If you can buy them with the tops on and cook them with the tops, it makes a very strong astringent dish, vegetable dish that will help clean your arteries. Today we're just going to chop the bottom part of the Daikon off into little rounds, and we're going to simmer those rounds and then serve them with a nice sauce on top. So I always tell my students, when you're cooking Daikon or eating Daikon, you don't want a lot of people around because it has a very strong pungent smell, and sort of like broccoli that's been left in a lunchbox. So you want to be careful about that. Because the Daikon is so pungent, it leaves a really strong smell, like I said, once it's cooked. If it's grated, it's not so strong a smell. So you might recognize grated Daikon if you go to Japanese restaurants and eat fish or meat. They usually serve it in a little mound next to the animal food because it helps you break down and digest animal proteins and fat and salts in the food. But in macrobiotics and at the Macrobiotic Global Institute, we use Daikon frequently in a number of different recipes. Daikon can be pickled in rice bran. These pickles are super strong. They use them in monasteries. Monks would take little pieces and put them in their rice, and it was a really helpful dish for digestion. And we also used them dry. So when you make dry, the second half of the show we'll make a dried Daikon dish, and this even goes deeper into the body and helps remove fat. So we did have a show on how to lose weight where we made a remedy drink out of carrot and Daikon. So we use Daikon in remedy drinks, but we also use them inside vegetable dishes. So after we heat up our water, we are going to put a pinch of salt in there while we're blanching the vegetables. And we do that for about 10 minutes until the vegetable gets nice and soft. And then we are going to make a nice sauce for the Daikon. Daikon, like I said, you can eat plain, but this is a really simple, nice sauce. You just take a little bowl and you put some, this is white miso. And these people were on my show. We did the Miso Master special show on Macro Magic. So you take about a teaspoon of the miso. Now again, you don't have to put a dressing on the Daikon, but it tastes a little bit nicer with it. And then we're going to put about a teaspoon of rice syrup. So brown rice syrup is just cooked down brown rice. And it doesn't give you tooth decay, it doesn't jack up your blood sugar. It's really nice for diabetics and for babies. It's very easy to digest, and we use it in most of our baked cookies, pies, cakes, in macrobiotics. And then we're going to put a little bit of tahini. This is raw tahini. You can get roasted as well. We're going to just put a tablespoon of that in with our sauce. So again, you can experiment. We encourage, on our online cooking program, we encourage students to learn about all these ingredients and then cook some of their favorite dishes from maybe their grandmother or maybe their mother or maybe, something that they found on the internet. So there's no set rules with these recipes. So we just basically just stir the 3 ingredients together. And we can add a little bit of water, hot water that the daikon is cooking in. Just to soften it up a little bit. And then once the daikon is done, you actually can check whether it's done by putting either a chopstick or a fork into the daikon, and if it's soft, if it's one color, sort of white throughout, you know that it's done. Again, you can eat this vegetable raw. You can blanch it like carrots and just dip it in hummus. You can put it in stews. You can put it in soups. It's good to eat it on a regular basis, especially if you have a heart condition. So we're going to just take our daikon out when it's done. And this is a great vegetable as well for children to eat. Children love daikon sticks, and they're very easy to travel with. So you just put them out on the plate like this. And then you just take the dressing and put a little bit on each one, just to give it flavor. Now you can make this thinner into like a really thin liquidy sauce and pour it over as well. But today I'm just going to put a little dab on each one. And these make fun, hors d'oeuvre, party hors d'oeuvres, if you're looking for vegan party hors d'oeuvres. They also make nice side dishes. And you'll be amazed at how healing a food daikon is and how it helps you, like I said, reduce your cholesterol, discharge any extra fat in your arteries. It's almost like an astringent, and it works together with the lungs and large intestine. In Chinese medicine, we learn the meridians, and each meridian is paired. So the meridians that run to the large intestine and to the lungs are paired together. So as you're cleaning out your large intestine, you're also cleaning out your lungs. So by eating daikon, you'll be able to breathe better, especially if you have asthma or allergies, which are often caused by eating too much dairy food. So if you start to eat more daikon, you'll notice a difference there. So these are beautiful radishes. And you can put little chopped scallions or chives on top of each one and just eat them as a snack, or like I said, pack them in a lunchbox, but make sure don't go to a movie theater or to the office with your daikon, because it's got a super strong smell, and you just want to be aware of that. But it's often recommended when we work at the Macrobiotic Global Institute, when we're working with women who have breast tumors or men who have prostate issues, to recommend not only daikon drink, but that they incorporate some of these daikon dishes throughout the week in their menu planning. And at first you might not like the taste. It's sort of like a radish. It's not a strong taste, but some people need to become accustomed to it somewhat. So I also sent in some photos just to show you that throughout the years, we've taken all the teachings of Misho Kushi. So when I went through the levels at the Kushi Institute up in Beckett, Massachusetts, we studied with Misho one-to-one, and I actually got to scribe or take notes for him when he would see clients. So through the years, I've learned, through 40 years, I've learned macrobiotics pretty extensively. And now I created an online cooking program with Patricio Garcia de Paredes, who used to help Michaud and Aveline in Beckett years ago and created the center, the Kushi Macrobiotic Center in Japan. So the two of us, after the pandemic, got together on Zoom, and we decided to create a school with the help of Lorraine McCamley, who you've seen on a couple episodes of Macro Magic, to create a company and a school to teach worldwide all the wonderful things we've learned in macrobiotics. So it's called the Macrobiotic Global Institute. Right now we're running a special. We have a level, what we call the beginner level, food is energy. And you can sign up for that level by purchasing a coupon for the next couple months, a $25 coupon, which will give you a big discount on the virtual beginner program. So in the program, we offer cooking videos. We offer videos on how to set up your kitchen, how to purchase things like daikon, how to find grains and beans and vegetables, and what kinds of products you can stick in your cabinet for snacks. So we're going to take a break and watch a commercial about our institute, and when we come back, we're going to make another dish out of dried daikon.
Disenfranchised, disengaged, extremely distracted? Do you feel that you're lost in semantics, over-leveraged, overwhelmed? My name is Lisa Fratelli, and I have a show on RVN TV, always streaming. The name of the show is The Neuroscience of Wealth and Well-Being. The intention of this show is to explain how you can get back to homeostasis, flow states, creativity. It's highly correlated with happiness and well-being. So you can get out of overwhelm, get out of burnout, not feel distracted, and get back to your life. You will hear from experts who will get you back on track so you can enjoy your life again. RVN TV, we're always streaming.
Are you part of the Great Resignation?
Welcome back to Macro Magic. We just made this beautiful dish out of fresh daikon, and we talked about how daikon, since it's so high in potassium, low in sodium, helps to clean out your arteries and veins of excess salt, fat, and animal protein, and so really helps hypertension and heart disease. So this is our quickly blanched daikon with a little dressing made out of tahini, miso, and rice syrup. Now we're going to talk about dried daikon. So if you are extremely overweight and you're looking to really go animal or plant-based, animal-free, plant-based diet, and you want to get rid of or help discharge all that old excess animal food, dry daikon even goes deeper into your arteries and veins and helps clean that out. So, you know, when I meet friends that tell me that they have to go on statins for the rest of their life, I always suggest try adding daikon to your diet and reducing animal food. So this is dried daikon. You can order it at Natural Import Company and a bunch of other health food stores. It comes dried, and some people actually have dried it themselves. They cut it into little strips and hang it on a clothesline in the sun. You do need to soak it before you use it for about 15 minutes, and you'll see the soaking water looks a little brown. You can use the soaking water if the daikon isn't too old. If this is left in the package for a long time, it turns darker, and then I would throw away the soaking water. So we've soaked this for about 20 minutes. To this dish, we're just going to heat up a frying pan, and like I said, you can create any sort of recipe you like with this. This has to cook for about 20 minutes in liquid. So today we're going to make it a little bit more rich by adding some light sesame oil first to the pan. Heat that up. We always add our onions in first because onions are acidic and you have to digest them by pre-cooking them a little bit. Cooking is actually the first stage in the digestive process. So we've cut the onions into about 1/4 inch, 1/2 moon slices, and we'll simmer them we'll cook them until they simmer a bit. And while they're simmering, just so the oil doesn't get too hot, we'll add a little bit of the soaking water from the daikon. So we simmer those onions until they're a little bit clear and they change from white to yellow, pale yellow. Now, because we're putting shoyu, which is a natural soy sauce, no chemicals, in with this dish, we're not going to use a lot of salt in this dish. So the next ingredient after the onions have turned clear, we're going to add the carrots. Now, I took a carrot. This is a really beautiful carrot, organic carrot, and I just cut it on a diagonal, and then I take the diagonals, just stack them up, and cut really thin slices. This is called a matchstick slice. And these you all learn at our cooking school, our virtual cooking school, the Macrobiotic Global Institute. So we're going to take these carrots and put them on top of the onions. Now again, you can use parsnips, you can use burdock, you can use whatever you'd like. Then we're going to remove the daikon from the soaking water and just chop it up into bite-sized pieces. This is just so you don't get a really long piece, sort of like long spaghetti in your food. And then we're going to cover it with the extra soaking water. And we're just going to simmer that on a low flame for about 15 to 20 minutes. Now, I always like to add something green to a dish. So these are just scallions. You can use garlic scapes, you can use leeks, you can use celery in this recipe. But we're just going to use a couple scallions to dress up the dish. And we're also going to flavor the dish today, like I mentioned, with shoyu, which is a natural soy sauce. Shoyu has a tremendous gathering influence. So we make remedy teas and drinks out of shoyu. If you have a cold or a flu or headache, it helps gather your energy and discharge it. So shoyu also has live enzymes in it. It's fermented, which is really nice, and it's not as salty as tamari. Oftentimes people who are gluten intolerant use tamari because there's no wheat in it. So whichever one you use them sparingly. Don't use them a lot, especially if you're healing from a heart condition. But while our daikon is cooking, we're going to just sprinkle a little bit on top. Now this all depends on your taste. If you like things that are, a little bit more salty, like I said, just be careful with salt if you are healing from a health condition, because salt will tighten up your lower back, your kidneys, and make you crave sweets if you use too much. We're also going to use mirin. Mirin's a cooking, sort of natural cooking wine, so to speak. It's very, very sweet. And so we're going to just use a little bit of that in our daikon dish. And we're going to cook until the carrots turn soft and the daikon gets, pretty digestible. So I also wanted to share with you all of our exciting new programs at the Macrobiotic Global Institute. We have some free online workshops coming up. One is a free cookie workshop, which I'll be teaching over the holidays, how to make cookies that you don't bake in the oven, you don't bake with flour, and you use whole grains. So I'm going to talk about that. In the new year, we're going to have probably monthly workshops that are free, so you can log on. But to subscribe and get information in our newsletter as to all these great new workshops, you need to visit our website, macromagic.com, and just hit subscribe. And then when I send out recipes, oftentimes I send out videos to match those recipes, which is really exciting, or some coupons and things in the natural food product stores that we are affiliated with. And we also have a recipe store online. So if you find out, and want to learn a really quick holiday recipe or watch a holiday video meal that we've taught in the past, you can click on and purchase one of those. Our daikon is almost ready. So we're going to put the scallions in last. Scallions cook very quickly, and you want to keep them bright green for your dish. And you want to cook this dish until all the liquid has disappeared, and that makes all the flavors sort of, soak into the dish. And if you put too much water in here, it sort of loses its flavor. Many people have to acquire a taste for fresh daikon, but also for dry daikon. Like I said, it's a very pungent taste. It's sort of like a radish, but dry daikon is much sweeter than raw daikon. So people tend to like dry daikon better. As far as daikon pickles, you can make quick pickles out of daikon just by chopping them up real thin, soaking them in soy sauce and water, or umeboshi vinegar and water, or sea salt and water. Or you can buy rice bran pickles. Rice bran pickles are vegetables that are layered with the bran from rice. If you visit our website, Macromagic, you'll see that we sell rice bran soaps. And the brand actually that came from South River Farm, where we're filming our film documentary, The Spirit of Rice, is the brand that we use in our soaps. And so purchasing a bar of soap, you're supporting the film and our intent in giving the message to the world about natural agriculture and how to grow grains, beans, and vegetables in your backyard. So here is the rice bran pickle. Again, with pickles, you want to use a small amount. Pickles, you should have about a tablespoon a day. They help grow back your microbiome and your digestive tract. And if they're too salty, rinse them off or put them in a bowl of water with some lemon juice, and just to get the salt out. but once a day should boost your immunity, help prevent colds, flus, any sort of viruses, and strengthen the microbiome or the digestive capability in your gut. When we work with people with any sort of illness, we want to heal the gut first. If you heal the digestive tract, you're pretty likely to heal the rest of the body. So we're going to take our daikon off the stove and just put it back in our bowl. And this is beautiful because the scallions have turned bright green, the carrots are bright orange, and like I said, it's a really gorgeous dish to serve as a side dish. And there's so many ways of getting protein, if you read the China study, in your diet without eating animal food. You can eat tofu, you can eat tempeh, you can eat seitan, and there's millions of different kinds of beans that you can eat. And all those items have fiber in them. So that's what helps your heart, keeps your arteries nice and clean, and doesn't allow plaque buildup. They say in America, heart disease is probably the #1 killer of most Americans because we've all adapted such a big amount of, or added such a big amount of animal food to our diet. And if we can reduce that a little bit, especially now that so much animal food, animals are raised in factory farms with lots of antibiotics and chemicals and additives, and there's all sorts of articles about how it contributes to climate change because of the nitrogen that comes off the fields when you're raising so many animals at one time in small quarters. So you're doing the planet a service by changing over to a plant-based diet, but you're also doing your health a service and your heart. So here's our beautiful daikon dish. It smells really wonderful. And that we're going to put with the daikon rounds. So I encourage you to stop by your natural food store and pick up a daikon. They're just beautiful vegetables. And like I said, there's so many ways to cook them and eat them on a regular basis. I also remind people that when we give them the remedy drink for losing weight, the grated daikon and carrot, don't do that more than 10 days in a row because daikon is so strong in making you lose weight and clean out your arteries that sometimes you can get weak. So you want to, when you make those drinks, add a little soy sauce or add a little carrot to the drink. So thanks for watching. Please make sure to subscribe to macromagic.com to get the recipe for both these daikon dishes, or to check out our new leveled educational programs at the Macrobiotic Global Institute. And I'm so glad you joined us this week. Make sure to tune in next time for Macro Magic.